You know, sometimes a university is daunting to parents that want to bring their kids here and check it out if they want to. And I think a university-based museum is a place that we all can understand, at least a little bit. It's a safe place. It's a place to dip your toes in the water, to learn a little bit about Kentucky, to start to understand a little bit about the university and what education can do for you and how these exhibits are brought together. Good morning, my name is Brent Bjorkman. I am the director of the Kentucky Museum and the Kentucky Folklife program here on the campus of Western Kentucky University. We want to have the public, both the students and the general public, to feel that they have ownership, not just the pride and the message that we're trying to send out with these exhibits and all our exhibits, but it's also, I have ownership in that, and it's really emblematic with that highbrow exhibit. There's a real physical manifestation of wow, I'm part of that particular thing. So that's the message. I want people to feel that the museum is part of them, that it's theirs, and they should be able to use it as a resource and be able to add and gain from it at all times.
I am Sandy Stabell. I'm the Registrar and Collections Curator here at the Kentucky Museum. I think museums are important because they are custodians of our history and heritage. And we've been here officially since 1939, so that means there's been a lot of history and heritage has come through our doors, and I think we've been part of the fabric and the community of both the university as well as the surrounding area, for a long, long time. So I think museums are important. They stretch us, expose us to new ideas and new things.
My name is Dr. Christy Spurlock. I'm the Education Curator here at the Kentucky Museum. Museums were a don't touch, be quiet sort of place. Museums have abandoned that and become more of a place of interact, engage, I think they've become more vibrant classrooms as a result.
Being the director of a museum, what I need to do is both manage the resources that we have, the collections that we have, and the budget that we have, and the fundraising that helps us also do that, with all the great ideas. There's so many great ideas. We have a wonderful staff that has a lot of ideas, that know the collection really well, and trying to do the best job we can for to use the collection for education of not only our students, and giving them both giving faculty ways to be able to use our exhibits in their classroom and their syllabus, or giving student workers and that sort of thing some hands-on real-world experience, or closed sessions, they might want to see particular artifacts, so being that kind of a resource. I think a good example of how we come up with exhibit ideas is what we have to offer this fall that we've been working on. Sometimes people don't understand that exhibits, there's a long maturation period for these kinds of things. For instance, we have 3 exhibits, and let me just talk about those for a moment. We have the Stickworks exhibit. It's the outdoor installation exhibit by the outdoor sculpture artist Patrick Doherty. And so that process, our artist in residence, Lynn Ferguson, was very intrigued by his work, and I pitched that idea as part of the Cultural Enhancement Committee 2.5 years ago. And everybody loved it. It's a really wonderful idea to be able to have that up for a long time and use it as a teaching tool. And then we had to get on his waiting list. So that was going on for a while, so we knew that was coming, and this was going to be this wonderful thing that could be celebrated campus-wide, community-wide.
My name is Lynn Hammer Ferguson, and I'm the artist in residence here at the Kentucky Museum. So we found out last year that we got an October 2018 build, and so I worked directly with Kelly Scott at the Cultural Enhancement Committee to make it happen. We managed all the volunteers, signing people up, making sure they had waivers, they had signed waivers, and they had times and they had tools, they could get to where they needed to go, whether we had to rent vans to move people out into the so they could harvest. So I helped manage all that and worked pretty much every day during the build while he was here. And I think it's a great example of a collaboration between the community and the campus, faculty, staff, students, and alumni, community members, all work together to make this structure and make it happen. And it's just amazing. It's something that people are already drawn to, and they'll come back and show people where they worked or what they did. So it was a huge community collaboration.
My name is Eleanor Davidson, and I'm the preparator here at the museum. I worked with Patrick from start to finish. Well, I helped. I was with a group of people, so I was out there on the first couple of days, going out into the woods, cutting trees down, and then I worked to help strip the leaves, and then at the end I helped assist Patrick and his son with building it. So I was kind of a part of each step of the process. I've gotten to see the look on a lot of people's faces for the Stickwork show. I remember when it first started to take shape, it was awesome to see people just walking by and driving by and just see the look of awe and excitement on their faces. So that was really awesome to see.
So we knew that this particular fall of 2018 would really have a concentration on the living environment, the woods and the spaces and the landscapes, physical landscapes of South Central Kentucky. So during the period of time we're working on that, I had also met Charles Brindley, whose exhibit Salient Features, the trees of Old Forest and Woodland Pastures, was an idea. I met him a couple years ago at the U.S. Bank show. His family had entered in the show, and just started to learn about what he did, how he celebrated through his canvases and his graphics work this area from the Nashville Basin to the Kentucky Bluegrass with these wonderful trees that had never been exhibited as a collection before. So that became, so we see this theme emerging of the built-in, the landscape of this area.
I'm Charles Brindley, and I have worked on this exhibit with Brent Bjorkman for about 1.5 years, titled Salient Features, Trees of Old Forest and Woodland Pastures. The primary focus of the museum was to contrast trees from Old Forest with woodland pasture trees. And the area that Bowling Green is in, really from the Nashville Basin, or it's also called the Central Basin, all the way up through the midsection of Kentucky, where Bowling Green is, up to Lexington and Louisville, is the highest concentration of woodland pasture trees in North America. And that's a unique feature of our region. A lot of my experiences or great ideas that come to me happen when I'm alone and quiet, not plugged in or checking my cell phone or watching television or listening to something in the background. So I spend a lot of time in front of a tree by myself in a sanctuary type of environment. And it's just inspiring, the ideas that come forward from a divine or spiritual domain when you allow yourself enough time to be quiet. Really, there was a lot of time that went into this in collecting all the work from institutions and museums, museums, and individuals that have loaned their paintings that they own of mine to the exhibit, plus about 30 pieces from my studio inventory. So a lot of catalog work and behind the scenes administrative type things, and then the design and printing of the catalog. So that's one reason that we had so many receptions and gallery talks and different forums and workshops that went along with this show, so that it really has a more impact and lasting effect, especially through the print material that will, sort of carry on after the exhibit closes.
And the majority of the show was borrowed directly from him, but there were an additional 23 individuals that we borrowed works from. So basically, I helped make arrangements to do the paperwork, determine valuations, set up the pickup arrangements. Once something comes in on loan, then you have to do condition reports, so I did that. And then I'm in the process right now of finalizing the return arrangements because the exhibit closes December the 2nd, so it will go back to their owners the first 2 weeks of December. So that's kind of what went on there.
We wanted to really celebrate, what we have here. And then the final piece that goes along in this thematic story is the essential tree. That's an exhibit, a small exhibit that we've created in-house here in the Kentucky building. We share this building, Kentucky Museum shares this building with Library Special Collections. So what the essential tree does is the essential tree brings together things in our collection, both in special collections and at the museum. Our 3D kinds of things are wooden artifacts that are created by people from our end, or images, lithographs, paintings that are housed in special collections. We really wanted to tell the story of the beautiful landscapes we have as paintings from this region, produced by people, or people who had that are in our collection. And also celebrated folk artists who've created things out of wood as well. So how do you use wood? How do you celebrate wood? How do you capture the essence, again, of place through being able to see a painting or a drawing of something that's germane to this South Central Kentucky region? So, and those all come together for this particular theme. So again, they've all been worked on both in-house with the essential tree, and then these ideas that germinated with the salient features, and then the highbrow exhibit too.
My name is Eleanor Miller. I am in the Folk Studies program here at Western Kentucky University. So I had not really worked on any of the exhibits other than I've helped paint for exhibits and things, like paint the walls for the exhibits and things like that. Other than giving tours until this summer, I stayed on a little bit extra with my assistantship through the month of June, and so I had a little more time. We didn't have school groups, so I had the opportunity to help out with the Essential Tree exhibit and help out kind of with picking items from our collection, from the Kentucky Museum collections for that, as well as writing the exhibit labels, or a lot of the exhibit labels, and the title panels for that exhibit. So I got kind of my first experience with working in curation and writing things for the exhibit with the Essential Tree.
I think one of the wonderful things, especially about the highbrow installation outside, is it's going to be up for a number of years. So it can be a kind of a touchstone, both a visual touchstone in front of the museum. It also kind of covers up a pathway to the museum. So I really would like to see that as a gateway to art, history, culture that people are going to find here.
I was standing guard over the Lincoln statue during the homecoming parade. We had him dressed up. So for about 2 hours I was out front shortly after stick work was completed, and I got to see college students and little kids and people interacting with that. I just sat there and watched them, and people would have their cameras out and children were running and playing with it. So that was really cool.
My name's Kelly Eads, and I'm a student docent here at the museum. I think it's just kind of trying to bring focus to local artists. Charles Brenly does a lot in Kentucky and northern Tennessee, so it's more local focused. The highbrow is not very local focused, but it brought people together a lot, so I think it's just a way for the community to examine what's around them in a better way.
I think bringing these three exhibits together thematically also then it kind of enhances or propels this intended message that we need to be proud of where we are as a regional university.